1 week, and every single comment, you copied the CBoys.
Didn't you guys get on like Jay Leno with that?
The Idaho state government forces us to be insured as plumbers, like even
What?
first camera guy.
Way. No, I was on a unicycle. Sometimes safety is not first.
Yeah.
Second. Or third.
Because I had to take the truck topper off my truck to fit the go-kart. Right?
Your house.
That's my house.
Yeah,
I was like, it's full commitment now.
North Idaho is not an easy place for anything. I mean, it works well for you guys because you get 4 seasons. You get to live out in the middle of the woods, dude.
Yeah.
You've got to be the only YouTubers out there, I'd imagine.
Surprisingly not. There's actually one probably less than 10 miles from us.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really?
Yeah. They're called Ambition Strikes, and they do like off-grid stuff. I haven't watched any of their content, but
Fitting
they
North
do,
Idaho.
Yeah.
10 miles down the road and you haven't even watched our video yet?
I don't watch anyone's videos.
Ethan legit does not watch YouTube.
Well, you make up for it. Dude, you
he
gotta
does.
watch more YouTube than anyone else I know. I'll be watching like a random music video and I'll see a Grindhard Plumbing Co. comment underneath it. I'm like,
Yeah, same,
what is
dude.
going on? Like on our podcast, on our videos, like early on, and I'm like, man, dude, Edwin is just on it.
I used to watch probably like 6 hours of YouTube a day, and then now I have probably watched like 3 and then like more like 6 on weekends. Even all my podcasts I get on YouTube too, because it's like, I don't know. I just feel part of that world even before we started a channel or anything.
Wow, that's crazy. 6 hours a day. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess it's kind of just doing research, you know, being that you're a YouTuber, it's easy to justify, but
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, all right, guys. So we've got on Ethan and Edwin from Grindhard Plumbing Co.'s YouTube channel. You guys got just over 2 million subscribers. You make build type content, but like kind of like us, you guys build very like abstract vehicles that should not be built and you guys bring to life. But you've kind of been doing it. You were doing it before we were doing it. You were doing it kind of before any YouTube channel got on like the concept of like weird builds do better than just like normal things. I remember the first time that we met you guys was 4 years ago when we came out to Coeur d'Alene.
Something like that, yeah.
You guys is filming compound,
My house.
Ethan's house in the middle. Like people think that we're in the middle of nowhere. You guys are actually in the middle of nowhere. Like trees, woods surrounding everywhere. Like you would think that it's like kind of like, you would think like a serial killer would come out of your guys' area. Like I think of like Ted in the Shed. Like that's what it reminds me of.
I mean, back when I was dating, like, yeah, it was definitely, people were a little concerned.
They're wondering where you're bringing them. Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to let somebody know where I'm going before I come over.
Jump out of the car halfway there. I think I'll walk.
Just make sure you text them at the bottom of the mountain because you lose cell service.
Exactly.
But no, you guys, when we first came out there, you guys had just finished up the Colonel Senders.
Yep.
So you guys took the like Jeep, like Power Wheels platform and then just made it like an actual drivable, full-grown vehicle. And you were like the first ones to do something like that. I just remember like showing up to your compound and seeing like all these different vehicles that were just weird, abstract builds and be like, dude, this is like entertainment right here. This is what people want, the crazy things like that. So anyway, tip my hat to you guys and what you guys have built.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can't take all the credit for that because one of the first things I saw was Boosted Boy Kyle and his shopping cart. He had really good videos, like making really fast Civics and stuff and like gapping Ferraris and Lamborghinis on the highway and stuff. And still that shopping cart video did better than those videos. And I remember watching that and being like, holy smokes. That is what I saw as the first person to make like a goofy thing that shouldn't exist be more popular than these like more common things. So yeah, that was definitely a lot of inspiration just seeing that project.
So how did you guys come together? Like explain to me kind of your start. Like, is that what inspired you to get into YouTube or like what's the story behind this? Is how long have you guys known each other?
Well, Ethan had viral videos way before Grindhard. He should take that one.
Really?
Sure. Yeah.
You were YouTubing before being a YouTuber, huh?
Yeah. I mean, kind of by accident. Like I, from a young age, I always liked film or photography, mostly still photography, but I ended up getting into filming stuff as well, just, kind of for fun. And then first video I ever posted that got any sort of views, I built a snow cave and I time-lapsed the whole process of building the snow cave and called it How to Build a Snow Cave in 2 minutes or something like that. And it was a 2-minute time lapse of like a week's worth of digging a snow cave. And that one, I mean, it didn't exactly go viral, but for a channel that had like 3 subscribers, it got, I don't know, 12 or 20,000 views or something. I was like, oh, this is cool.
You're like,
So
I'm a
it's not
YouTuber
like,
now.
Yeah, it's not like an igloo. It had multiple rooms and like you lit it with candles.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
slept 10 people in it.
Sick.
Yeah, it was a solid snow cave.
So how did you have time to do that when you're not a YouTuber? You spent a whole week digging a snow cave just for fun?
Yeah, pretty much. I had just gotten out of college. I had 2 years of college, so I went to local community college for photography, and I got my associates. And then I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I had a trip planned to go to Ireland and some of Europe, and there was just kind of a gap in between that where I was kind of just at my mom's place, which is now my place. But so yeah, I was just kind of didn't have anything better to do. Built a snow cave for a week. But yeah, then after that, like the next year or something, I was just working for local people doing, construction and whatnot, and had the inspiration to build a tree house. I'd built a small tree house when I was a kid.
You were going to do it big this time.
Yeah, I was like,
you're an adult
now.
now.
Yeah, I was 22 and I was staying at my mom's house, not indefinitely, just kind of trying to figure out what I was doing next. And then I was like, you know what? I could just build like a little tree house to sleep in. So I have my own room. So I did that. And then because I like doing weird things that are different, I built a bicycle elevator to get into it because stairs and ladders suck, and the treehouse is like 25 feet in the air.
This is not a normal treehouse. Like this is,
I know. I've
this is
seen
like the Mac Daddy of all treehouses.
That's what I thought too. The time we went in it, it was dark, and riding that bicycle elevator up and then walking across the rope bridge, I was like, dude, this guy's not afraid of heights. There's no way I could have built that, dude.
Well, dude, when you were walking across the rope bridge that has the ropes on the side, but you weren't touching like the ropes on the side, and you just walked across like it was just like you were in the mall. And then when I got up there, I just watched you do it, and then I get in there and shaking back and forth, and I'm like terrified. Like I'm not afraid of heights, but that was like I was easily the most scared I've ever been that high off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Like how high? Like how many feet?
It's around 20, 25 feet.
Jeez,
like high enough that you would severely hurt yourself.
Get
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
And you don't even get
right
to
away.
see the ground for what when you're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, that the bicycle elevator, I made a really crappy little video, like 60 seconds long, of just riding up and down it, and that went super viral. I mean, considering I had
On
no
YouTube?
subscribers. Yeah, on YouTube. Well, actually everywhere. It was one of those videos that like went way outside of YouTube.
What year was this roughly?
2013.
Wow, so like
Early.
early days.
Yeah. So it went super viral. It got about 1 million views on YouTube, and then CNN aired it, and Fox
Really?
News, like just everyone. Yeah. Like
Wasn't it a National Geographic's children's book too?
yep. Yeah. I kept the pay stub because like as a kid, my dream job was to be a National Geographic photographer, and technically I am because I sold National Geographic pictures of my treehouse to put in their book for kids.
Can you tell how
pretty
much
sweet.
they bought them for?
I was like $100. It was nothing, but
Still
like,
awesome,
it's-
though.
Yeah,
Still
it was,
awesome.
Yeah, it was the pay stub that mattered. But yeah, it was in like I got interviewed for like a radio broadcast in Germany, a TV show in Japan.
Holy smokes.
It was in a children's book in Turkey. Like it was everywhere. It was wild.
Like
so
globally viral.
oh yeah, super global.
The treehouse heard around the world.
Right. So yeah, and I mean, I made a few more videos with that. A few videos with 1 million views here and there. Some of them not monetized because like I didn't know how to find rights free music and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, and then I ended up building a few tree houses because of that for like local people that heard about me and were like, "Hey, can you build me a tree house?" And one of those ended up being a really nice tree house. Like if you saw mine and thought that was the Mac Daddy, like the one that I built, it was on the lake, like
In a tree
on the lake. Yeah, and you just walk into it from ground level because it's on a super steep slope. So it's only like
sweet.
15.
That's badass.
Like from the base of the tree house to the ground at the tree that it's around, it's only like 6 feet or something, or 8 feet maybe. But because it's a big tree house, I think the total square footage, including the porch, is like 300 square feet.
What? God
So
damn. That's a mansion of
it's-
tree houses.
It's not.
Is it funny how everyone like loves the idea of a treehouse until you actually are like in a treehouse and you're like, this is kind of inconvenient.
Yeah.
If you need anything, you got to like crawl back down.
Right.
I think
So this one
every
was designed
kid
to-
wanted a tree
yeah.
house. Wanted a tree house.
Right. So this one was designed to. You're good. This one was designed to be convenient. Like you just walked in on a bridge from ground level, like right in front of this nice house. Anyway, I did a full time lapse of that build. Like I actually wore out the shutter on my DSLR taking photos
Wow.
for it. Like hundreds of thousands of frames. Anyway, actually probably millions. But did a full time lapse on that, and I filmed a few clips here and there. So it was just like a time lapse, edited to music with a few random clips. And that one for a long time was actually until maybe very recently. I haven't checked, honestly. It had more views than any Grind Hard video we've ever done. It had like, I don't know, 8 million views or something.
Damn.
But
especially back in the day, those are huge numbers.
Yeah. That one was later, and then I ended up being on a TV show on History Channel, and
as like a treehouse builder.
No, as like an imaginary character that lives in a treehouse, survivalist style, and like
classic TV type of
they made you kind of like.
Oh yeah. It was 100% made up.
We've filmed one of those one time too.
Yeah,
every scene, the pilot episode.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I was on a series of that. It was a cool experience to do it once. I would never do it again. Never recommend it to anyone.
Yeah,
I think
Ben's name was going to be Doogie.
Yeah.
They wanted to name him Doogie. Yeah, Ben was not good enough. Doogie was a better name. Yeah. He was going to be known as Doogie.
God.
Can you imagine if that would have like actually caught on? Yeah. And then that's just my name.
Doogie.
Yeah, it was some genius script writing. But no, that's so then what? So you do this TV show. How long does that go for?
They only did one season because it was terrible. And it
failed.
Really? Yeah. And it was, what were you going to say, Edwin?
Oh, I just had an antidote for what type of show it was. It wasn't Ethan. He probably wouldn't have let the producers make them do this. But in one of the episodes, these guys hunt elk with dynamite. That's how bad it was.
Oh my gosh.
Is that even legal?
That's pretty savage. Like, what if you would have got one?
Well, yeah. Also,
they're just pretending like we're setting up traps under these rocks with dynamite, and when the elk goes by, we're gonna ignite the dynamite because we don't have any other way to hunt elk.
And then we're gonna pick
Only
up the
dynamite.
meat.
We don't have weapons.
Yeah,
All we
just
have
have
is just
dynamite.
That is a crazy video.
I had to pretend
TV episode.
Sorry, I had to pretend to fish. But like they weren't gonna wait around to actually catch a fish. Also, it was like a creek you're not supposed to be fishing in. So they bought a trout from Safeway and put it on the hook, and I had to pretend to catch a fish that was dead.
This is why TV is dying.
Yes,
it is. This is
100%.
why TV is dying.
And this was 10 years ago, so like it's way worse now.
Well, my question is,
through it.
why does anyone give these producers that come up with these terrible ideas any kind of credibility to be able to continue to come up with these terrible ideas?
I think there's some that are great, but a lot that are bad. We've had a lot of experience with, only experience with bad ones. But.
Well, how do those ones like continue to keep doing it is my question.
They're just,
I think there's a person at the top of the food chain that gets pitched normal ideas every day. The day is long. And so you make something stand out. Like these guys with beards down to their bellies are hunting elk with dynamite in Alaska. And then that person at the top of the food chain doesn't know anything.
That is like, pretty crazy.
Like, I want to see that. Like, they don't. I think that at that far, it's so far detached, they don't even know that it's not real.
That's some savage behavior.
Like, I don't know.
Hunting with dynamite.
That's the only justification I have for you.
Yeah. How would the TV show pay, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, at the time, it was really not bad.
What year was it?
2014.
Okay.
I mean, compared to the money I was making doing anything else at the time, I think we filmed for a little over a month, and I made like 12 grand or something. So like,
nice. Yeah.
I mean, at the time, it was great. I think our official rate was like $1,200 an episode, and then but it was filmed all in one block of time basically, and then we made some other money here because we also built the treehouse and we charged them for some of that. Like we built the second, you saw the rotating one. That's the one we built on that show.
And like you say, it was the start, so something to get you into it, and
and just something to do. But
is it? Yeah. When you think back at that though, it's like these TV networks kind of are just like preying on people.
Oh, absolutely.
They made a lot more money than that.
They have a name for it. It's called Hicksploitation. Like the producers, that's what they call it.
That makes sense.
Yep. You find a guy. Yeah, that's true.
They call it Hicksploitation because they go around the country and find people who don't know what their time is worth and what their entertainment value is worth.
Yep.
And a lot of them, they don't pay at all. Like a lot of reality TV shows do not pay the people that are on them. The people are just doing it because they're like, I'm going to be famous. Yeah. I'm going to make $1 million because of something,
Yeah. I remember when we were getting pitched, when I asked how much we were going to get paid, and it was like in like 2018, 2019, and it was not much at all. Yeah. And I was like, that's not worth our time. We could make way more just doing YouTube. But obviously, if you don't have a platform, you then can get risen to fame.
Yeah.
So that is honestly what it's worth.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you're not getting paid probably what you are worth for your time, but you do get put onto a platform that hopefully you can then cross over. But nowadays you got YouTube.
Yep. And also the thing is, a lot of these shows don't. Your character on the show is so far removed from reality.
Yeah,
you can't
it's
even,
tough that you can cross over.
Like my character on the show didn't know that computers exist. Pretty much. like I lived in a tree and had no access to society. Like how do you capitalize on that as a character? You know.
Yeah,
little
that's
did they know
tough.
you're doing engineering on a computer.
Right.
Like, you know,
it's
talented.
not that you couldn't, but it wouldn't be a like direct. Like for example, Heavy D.
They got lucky that they got to have a crossover.
Exactly. His character on that show is a very marketable character and very marketable products and stuff. So like, yeah.
And it was close to probably somewhat close to who he is, you know, because that was his whole thing with YouTube is he was going to just be real because they were sick of doing the
fake
whole
reality
shtick,
stuff.
you know?
Yeah.
But
did you pitch the networks at all? Like, hey, I can like do a bunch of other things too. Like, do you want to film me actually living my life and like doing these?
There was a couple other, like that show wasn't the only one that approached me. So like I had pitched another one where like they wanted us to like go around building tree houses for people, and like I kind of came up with a pitch for them, but that didn't go anywhere. And like,
gotcha.
That'd
have been a better show than the one that sounds like you did.
Oh yeah, almost anything would have been better than that. It was
custom treehouse building show would have gone off for sure.
Yeah, I mean there was already like they were looking for like a new take on it because there was already Treehouse Masters and there was like some other show. But anyway, yeah. That never really went anywhere, but it was an interesting time in my life. And the point is, it through all of that, like I already understood that YouTube could be a way to make money and a career and stuff. And then later when Edwin started talking to me about stuff, I already had that idea and some experience with it and like had already filmed and edited videos and stuff. So it was like, it was easy, like, oh yeah, let's, do this.
So you came into the picture because you were the YouTube guy watching 14 hours of YouTube back there,
commenting on every video.
Well, I was definitely doing that, and like I was making music when MySpace was big. Like I was making weird like Lady Gaga remixes and stuff, and then.
You remind me so much of Mike.
Same. I was just thinking the same thing.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just can't. Like, you look like Mike right now. Like, the things you do are totally things Mike does. Like,
oh man, we're gonna have to talk music.
Speaking about the MySpace era, I missed out on that too.
It was fun.
How old are you?
You customize
26.
your page.
My mom wouldn't let me get one.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time.
I mean, I was in elementary school when it was popping, but
yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. It was cool, but. I was making YouTube videos, like, I hope it's not on the internet anymore, but one of my first one was Santa Claus versus the Easter Bunny, where we like dressed up and fought each other. But that was in like high school. But yeah, I was always making videos and I never really like had a passion for it. I guess like I just did it because it was so much fun, which I guess is passion, but I never thought of it like as a job or anything. I moved to Orlando the second I turned 18 to DJ. And like try to promote my music.
Really? So you were into music or are into music?
Yeah, I still make music.
Did you not hear Will's Drift Funk?
No, I didn't.
Edwin wrote Will a song.
Oh my God.
About Subarus.
Really? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. We'll play it for you later.
Okay, for
They'll
sure.
hit us with the copyright claim.
Yeah. No, it's not claim. Anyone can use it. It's all good.
There you go. More rights-free music for your videos.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Funk.
And that was kind of a beginner song. Like we got a serious song coming. But yeah.
Music video and all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've had some ideas for music videos.
For sure. Yeah. We're going to do a rock song too that's like a Mad Max themed music video and
with like samples of all the shop sounds.
That would actually be very fitting.
Like
for
different
you
tool
guys.
noises and like banging on different stuff and like engine noises. They're like tuned to different. Yeah, it'll be cool.
Wow.
And Steven, our camera guy, he's an incredibly good piano player.
Oh yeah, like phenomenal.
Genius level will blow your mind. So we're going to do kind of that whole, in Fury Road, there's the guitarist on the front of the truck. We're going to get like a piano on one of our trucks and really go for it. So it's going to be nice.
Stay tuned for that. Hyping up the music video. Promoting the music video. That's why
That's why here it's like you guys are doing your press tour.
I mean, we have no idea when it's going to happen, so it's not really a great idea to promote it yet.
One of those one-day things.
Yeah, it's going to be sick though. But when I seriously my first serious channel was trying to promote my music, and then I started doing music tutorials. And then I kind of had this website that had like presets for synthesizers. And so around that time, I just got kind of burnt out on music. And I realized that I liked the process of making the videos more. And so then I started kind of a lifestyle brand with one of my friends. It was kind of like when Red Bull was getting into Red Bull Media House and Art of Flight came out. And we were doing like really cinematic surfing videos. And we filmed like a couple breakdance competitions for Red Bull and stuff like that. And
what year would this be? Like 2017?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was right after Steele Rafferty got his first gold medal in the X Games, so it would have been like around there, I think.
Because we started grind hard in the spring of.
What an interesting way to keep time.
Well, I kind of knew when I was like,
was it pre gold medal steel wrapping X Games? Or
I guess I just assumed you guys followed wakeboarding.
or AD.
Yeah, like I see your boats. I figured you like
no. How old is he? Oh, he's 14 months after steel got his.
Yeah. But it would have been somewhere like 16 and 17 because we
It was
started
actually
grind hard in 18.
seriously accurate. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
I just wanted to give a time for the listener.
I'm kind of blown away that you like dialed that in like that. But yeah, then I moved back to Idaho and we hung out before then.
Yeah, quite a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, but not a whole lot. But our mutual friend Steven,
who's now our filmer,
was hanging out with both of us all kinds of a lot. And so after that lifestyle brand didn't go anywhere, I was just like kind of traveling and surfing, and I was filming documentaries and stuff and commercials for travel companies and things like that were like cool gigs, filming weddings, pay the bills. Mm-hmm. And then I was kind of like simultaneously starting a wedding filming company at the same time as I was like, I'd rather just film whatever I want. Since I'd been serially watching YouTube for so long, I was like thinking ideas like what's really fun, what would give a lot of cool creative control and stuff, building weird things. Like I've always been really into dirt bikes and been dirt biking my whole life and missed it because I didn't have a dirt bike in Florida. I mean, you see where Ethan lives. Like I lived even further in the woods.
Oh, wow.
He did, yeah.
I dirt biked to high school. It was awesome. I didn't even want a dirt bike in Florida because I was like, where am I going to ride? Like,
right.
We have
there's not even any hills here. Like, what do you?
You go to Miami and join the 12 o'clock boys.
Yeah. Well, that's what
I
he really wants to do.
Yeah,
that's
my
his
dream.
Yeah. We want to do a video doing that too. We
Pretty
probably go to
stoked on
Philly.
it, but Evan he's our wheelie guy, right?
Uh-huh.
And even he's like, I don't know. I mean, think of all the things that could go wrong. Like he's kind of nervous about like getting in the pack.
I'm not really interested in that at all. Yeah,
you guys are all like, you guys can all hold 12 o'clock wheelies just fine. It seems right?
On a pit bike, I can, but
yeah, I don't know. If there was like,
I'm not a full size bike.
Oh, okay.
We'd probably get left in the dust.
Yeah,
show up on
I
pit
think
bikes.
I was just gonna be more filming it, but I figured we have like a few friends that are in that scene. They could get us in the door, but it actually the idea got kind of scrapped because YouTube's like buckling down on riding on the street. Stuff like that.
Really?
Like, yeah.
That sucks. Those are some of the coolest channels.
I know. That's what I used to watch like 2016, 2015. I just watched like, running from the cops on dirt bikes and stuff. And like,
we could see the influence on the shifter cart on the street.
Yeah.
Was that some of your first like major viral videos? Were those?
That was actually our very first one. But yeah, that's actually a really good connection. I just saw those videos were popping.
Yeah.
And like they'd have, 2-3 million views. So I just kind of stationed it that way, and that's where the title came from. But
not to mention how much fun they were having doing it.
Yeah, right. That was such a different time though for making videos. But
it was like one of the first times I'd ever sat down and watched YouTube. I was at your house. We were watching it on your big computer downstairs, and you were like, check this out, because we were like getting into dirt bikes at the time. Look at these guys that would just ride wheelies like in the streets.
We were just mind blown because we were so nervous about getting pulled over by like the local sheriffs and stuff. So like we felt like we were outlaws riding, but these guys are doing it on a whole nother level, running from the cops, just like blatantly, like just the disrespect. But anyways, back to you guys.
So when you were moving back, or even when you were in Florida, and you heard about Ethan filming this TV show, were you like, oh, local kid kind of like makes it big with his TV show and like wanted to be a part of that world somehow? Or were you like, yo, check out this TV show of Ethan?
I didn't see it. Ethan wasn't really proud of the TV show. I don't
you weren't going around marketing it?
No. Yeah. Not really. I mean, yeah, like I probably made like one post about it on Facebook. Like I was like, hey, look, I'm on a TV show. Like it was so embarrassing how fake it was.
Sucks.
I was just like whatever. Yeah.
So it wasn't anything like that. I don't think I even knew about it until I came home. And then
because we barely knew each other at the time.
Yeah.
Like we'd only hung out a couple of times when I was filming the TV show. Like after that is when we started hanging out more and getting to know each other more. So.
Yeah, because we were in like the parkour kind of slackline unicycle.
Yeah, so
done it all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's something both you guys. You just have tried so many different things that you now have this like experience, and you know, you can use to work.
And that really is the parkour is ultimately the connection that we know each other at all, because
fellas, looking sharp doesn't mean you have to trade comfort for style. Mack Weldon is here to give you performance clothing that doesn't look like it's made for the gym or for someone who wants to look like they just came from the gym. From their light as air underwear to innovative anti-odor tees and versatile yet comfortable pants, Mack Weldon has a full range of clothing that never goes out of style. I got a bunch of Mack Weldon stuff, and honestly, I love it. It's comfy, but yet it still looks great. The boxers are honestly a personal favorite of mine, so even if you don't like some of their styles, you can't go wrong with a pair of comfy underwear. They also have their Ace Collection sweatpants, which is a Sunday special for me. I love wearing them around the house, but yet if I go out, it doesn't really look like I left the house for the first time all day. Mack Weldon apparel gives you understated good looks for understated confidence. So get timeless looks with modern comfort from Mack Weldon. Go to mackweldon.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code WIDEOPEN. That's MACKWELDON.com. Promo code WIDEOPEN. Shopify is the best way to sell online, period. Our website, CboysTV.com, was created with Shopify, and we absolutely love it because it's easy to customize our design with no coding needed, and it's easy to manage orders from anywhere using their app. Grow your average order value with Shopify Bundles app, where you can create and sell product bundles with ease. But really, my favorite part about Shopify is the app. You can manage your whole site and track sales right from your phone. And if you want marketing made simple, Shopify removes the guesswork with built-in tools that help you create, execute, and analyze your online marketing campaigns. Or with Shopify Magic, whip up captivating content that converts from blog posts to product descriptions, generate instant answers for frequently asked questions, or pick the perfect email send time, and more, free for all Shopify sellers. We love using Shopify, and you will too. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/wideopen, which is all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/wideopen now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/wideopen.
our friend Steven was super into parkour, and so was Edwin. And I was like surface level into parkour. I like am really bad at being upside down and like knowing where I am. But
going downstairs, like on the last one, you'd rip a 360.
Yeah, right. No, I was on a unicycle.
Unicycle parkour.
Yeah, basically.
God damn, dude, you just got to take it to the next level every time.
But it was a weird sport, so I'd like hang out with the like.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's not a lot of unicycle parkour guys to hang around.
Right, exactly. There's no other there's no other unicyclists at all. And I met Steven because I was also into slacklining, so I did unicycling. I was known as the unicycle guy at college. Like I unicycled.
We had one of those at our college too.
Yeah, I think they all do.
Every college has got one unicycle guy.
I was also into slacklining, and one day I just went into the like student union building, and I was like, "Yo, anybody want to go slacklining?" And Steven, who was like, I don't know, whatever, like 6 years younger than me or something, and so he was this like super shy little 16-year-old kid with like a fro of curly black hair, and he's just like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll join you." And then like no one else did, so it was just him and I out there slacklining in the rain for a while. And so that's how we got to know each other. And then he was into parkour, so I just started hanging out with him, unicycling with the parkour guys, and then that's how we met.
And then when I was trying to think of the wedding video business, I was like, I know I can do it, but I don't know if it's going to be as like rewarding to my soul as just being creative. And I was missing that aspect of making music already. So then it was like trying to find a way to like do YouTube with like drift cars and dirt bikes and stuff. And
so you knew you wanted to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of like planned like that from the beginning. I was like, I'll give YouTube a solid go for a year while I'm setting up this wedding business. And if it doesn't work up, I'll just take the wedding business as far as I can, you know. I don't know where the idea came from specifically, but I was like, man, a dirt bike engine and a little pink Mustang would be awesome. Because I was seeing people make really good drifting videos, really good dirt bike videos that weren't getting any traction. And like no one knows who I am. So it's like if you were already famous at the time and then you built a drift car on YouTube, people seem to care. Like if you were on TV or something like that. And I'm like, okay, no one's going to care about me learning how to build cars. You know, that's kind of what I was thinking. So like this would be insanely cool. So I went on like Marketplace and bought like a really crappy go-kart and a really like used
beyond crappy go-kart. I mean, it is so much worse than you can imagine.
You're like, come on, man.
Like we're not talking like a shifter cart that's all beat up. No, this was like a kid's go-kart from like probably the 70s or 80s that had been mutilated by so many people that didn't know how to weld. It had refrigerator water line for the brake line.
Oh my.
It had a 2-cylinder Honda street bike engine from like the 70s in the back that had no power at all, barely ran. And it had like a sort of roll cage made out of just like 2x2 1/4-inch thick angle iron.
Yeah, it was sketchy.
Oh, wow.
Just like it was.
That's sketchy.
That's what the kids are calling a death trap.
Terrible. Yes, it was. Yeah, just to paint a picture of how bad this go-kart was. So it had an engine, and we really tried to look at like whether we could use that engine, but it was just not going to work.
Did you guys know how to weld and manufacture at the time?
That's
why I reached out to him.
Exactly.
So I was living in my truck, and I had like a truck topper, and I made this like cedar kind of slide out drawer thing, and I was just like climbing and surfing and being a bum. So I didn't have any money. So I spent my last money on the go-kart and this pink Power Wheels.
Wow.
And when I went to the guy's house to buy the little pink Mustang, he was like, "Hey, I also have this Barbie kitchen set if you're interested." And I was like, "Oh no, this is for me. Like, I'm going to make a go-kart." And he was like, "Okay." Like, it was so awkward, but I had to, it was full commitment.
You're walking out, you're like, well, I guess I'll take the Barbie kitchen set too.
Yeah, exactly. It was full commitment because I had to take the truck topper off my truck to fit the go-kart. And I was like, all right.
Your house.
That's my house.
Yeah,
I was like, it's full commitment now.
Well, then he just moved into my tree house. So
it worked out.
There you go.
Yeah. It worked out. I was going to like buy a welder and just try to figure out how to do it. But then I was snowmobiling with Ethan, and I had the Mustang in the car. And
in your mom's Tahoe or something.
Yeah, and I was like, what do
Just
you think
stuffed into
about
that.
this?
Yep.
And he was like, just bring it by my house.
Yeah, I was just like
that.
yeah. No, I was like,
Bro.
yeah, just bring it over sometime and we'll like look at it and figure it out. I was like, yeah, I'm sure we can. And at the time, you were talking about putting like just a Predator engine in it because that was much more
just
attainable
cheap and easy, and built-in gas tank. I wouldn't have to figure out all that stuff, and I had no idea. I was just watching welding tutorials because like I know I'm going to need to do this.
Yeah.
Cut up that go-kart that I bought and do it. And then Ethan was like, it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen before because like, I mean, you guys know, like if you're a kid with a dirt bike, your dirt bike is all you have. It's like your pride and joy. It's your baby. It's like actually all you have. So Ethan gets this crappy go-kart I bought running in like a day, and it's terrible. And he's like, this engine isn't going to fit. We should put a dirt bike engine in there. And he just pulls out his dirt bike and rips out the engine right in front of me. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh, that's your dirt bike, man. You're pulling out the engine. That's crazy. Yeah, what if it doesn't work, And then
also the plan was always actually to just put the engine back in the dirt bike. I was like, we'll just throw it in this, build it, have some fun with it, and then like just throw the engine back in the dirt bike. It's fine.
We always think that we're going to do that too.
Oh, yeah.
It never
We're
works
like,
out that way.
Yeah, perfect. And then we'll just, put this into the next build or something like that. Never happens.
No, of course not.
Fast forwarding like the 8 years and then we'll come back. But that's one of the coolest things. And one of the things I tell everybody about you guys, that everything is built just in what's in your yard. You might have an old car that was from another project and you just have half of it there. Like it's nothing to anybody. And you're like, okay, I can use, a piece off of that to manufacture another piece for this. Everything you guys do is so resourceful, and it's pretty incredible to see in an area like that. You're like, I'm not just going to run to the store. That's going to take 2 hours.
Exactly.
So
and
you
that's
have to make it work.
That's why I, developed that skill set. Cause like, I also grew up without any extra money. So like, but it also just being there, like to run to the store, it's like an hour and a half round trip or something. Yeah. And it's faster to just figure it out with what I have. And so that's where that kind of mentality came from. And then also I just kind of enjoy it. I like kind of repurposing things. And
What's interesting is we keep it up too, because now we could go on like eBay and buy the exact part we need. But I don't know, there's something that's like more fun and more entertaining about just figuring it out. Like Will and I bought the cheapest electric car and like tried to do this 100-mile challenge, and it failed. So now we're building it up better.
Dude, you guys love that electric car.
We really do.
You guys have gotten your money's worth out of that.
You have no idea how much they love it.
I heard they.
We actually seriously disturb Ethan all the time. I think people think we're messing with them, but Will and I just get
I still don't know, honestly. I still think you're messing with me with the places you can't even walk.
It's 100% genuine passion. We love this little little electric car.
What's it
It's
called?
just-
The Chang Wang or something?
yeah, the Chang Wang. That's what I'm gonna call it now.
The Chang Li.
Yeah, the
Chang Li. Chang Li. I love.
Wait a
dude,
second. The Chang Li.
Yeah. When you guys drop a YouTube video or an Instagram reel of it and you're just like so hyped on it, I'm like, I literally think every time I see it, I go, man, these guys just fucking love that electric car.
I love it more than I've ever loved anything. It's just like pure joy.
Careful, your wife is probably listening.
Yeah. Well, she's not a thing. She's a person.
That's very good.
different.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's
very good
different, you see.
point.
Yes,
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, when we went to SEMA, we went to like Dream Racing and, we drove a Ferrari around the track or whatever. And it's fun. But that Chang Li just off-road going 1 mile
when
an
you
hour.
started-
Are you guys getting paid right now?
No, we're not.
You gotta get.
Wait.
You got China in your pocket, don't you?
Hang on, though. The distributor of Chang Li tried to sell the business to Will. Like the U.S. importer of the Chang Li's that we got it from, they like sent a text to Edwin that somehow they thought was Will, and were like, "Hey, would you like to buy our business of importing Chang Li's?"
Did you do it?
Well, we just got that text yesterday. We need to make a
You
decision.
gotta do it.
It's like they've been
Gotta
so
do it. And then
invested.
send us one.
Yeah, that'd
Let's
be
see what
cool.
the
That'd be
let's see
cool.
what it's all about.
Yeah, let's see what it's all about.
Or you guys should
Yeah.
drive your Chang Wing to us.
Yeah.
Chang Li.
There's
like 500 miles.
There's no chance of that.
It's like all the.
It's also way more than 500 miles.
Will and I do want to drive it from coast to coast. So we'll just drive 2. We'll drop one off at you if we buy the business, and then we'll just keep rolling. But
It's like the slowest gumball rally ever.
Yeah.
Gumball? You mean cannonball?
Or cannonball, sorry. Gumball is the European one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gumball would
Ryan's
be-
European.
Yeah.
clearly.
You can tell from the jean shorts.
Yeah.
and the Florida T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do tourists wear?
How to be Florida.
with the Chang Li, it sat in Ethan's yard for 3 months. Will and I never even looked at it or sat in it or anything. And then one day we were just like, let's drive that thing 100 miles off road. And we just drove it through Ethan's woods for like 10 minutes, just grinning ear to ear. We're like, this is the best thing.
Oh, dude.
ever.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
they had asked for us, like they didn't ask much when they sent it to us. They're like, just make a couple posts about it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we'd had it for 3 months and hadn't done that. So they were like, hey, and that's why you guys started driving it. You're like, oh, we need to film some stuff for them. And then they were out there driving it for like 3 hours, just literally from across the property because it's.
They put the cameras down. They were still driving it.
Oh, absolutely. It's electric, so it's quiet. And from across the property, you just hear, whoa! Clunk, 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 clunk.
And then a bunch of laughing.
Whoa! Yeah.
It's
There
like
couldn't be a worse machine, but that makes it so much fun to try to get it to go over a little tiny bump.
Because everything is a challenge.
Yeah.
No, that's how we were when we first got the smart cars, and then again when we got the mini trucks.
Oh, the mini trucks are so good.
The mini trucks are legitimately just so much fun. to
Just
drive.
Dude, they're
workhorses,
the
man.
best.
Yeah.
They're the best.
They don't stop.
So when you guys first made the Mustang, the dirt bike swap Mustang, or I guess Mustang swap dirt bike,
Yeah.
whichever
way it goes.
Yeah. So that was like the first video that got traction. Didn't you guys get on like Jay Leno with that?
It was like a couple years later that we were on Jay Leno, but yeah,
How was he?
we didn't really interact with him much. Aside
It was
from
just right.
It
on
was just
camera.
film and then kind of I mean he was cool, but like it was just kind of there was a lot of other people there too. He was busy all day pretty much, but
Yeah, he's super chill and
Yeah.
like he's not gaudy or
I'd
like,
love to meet Jay.
he
Leno.
still wears the
He's a
denim
legend.
off
Yeah.
camera. Like
Oh, I'm sure.
He just walks up to you and starts
What a
chatting.
legend.
Like, he just doesn't act like a famous person
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And he's like so famous, but yeah, like on that whole shoot, I was surprised because I thought he'd have like people doing everything for him, but like there was this little kind of booth with a cooler, and he like came down off the racetrack like after we were racing and like just grabbed a water and sat next to me, like grabbed his own water and just sat with us, not like a director's booth or anything like that. And then what really struck out to me is he got on the phone himself, and I guess someone just got this kind of rare Lamborghini type deal, like a really fancy car that was like a limited colorway or something. And he called him up himself and he was like, hey, I heard you got that new car. Like, we'd love to stop by and just get a clip for the show, just be in and out 30 minutes, like asking him himself.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. I got
It is
like
cool.
mad respect for him in that. I was like, that's
Yeah.
cool that he's still like chasing it through passion,
Mm-hmm.
like he doesn't have to be doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
He could definitely have someone else make the phone call.
but he genuinely wants to see the car.
Right. No,
Like,
he doesn't
just
have to
that
make
genuine
TV
passion.
shows anymore. He just literally loves cars.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so cool.
I do think that he looked at the things that we brought and was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like
He didn't want to add it to his collection.
Yeah, no, you can tell when he's like really interested in something, and ours he was just like,
What is
I
this
don't
now?
like. He definitely wasn't excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty hard to process. Like looking at it, you got to wonder what you're looking at.
Yeah, I think we shocked Ben a little bit with the Colonel because Ben, you were the first one to drive it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were
Yeah.
probably the first
he
one
hopped
outside
in
of us.
and
Oh,
just
really?
like gave
Yeah.
it a little blip, and he was like, "Whoa, this thing is serious."
So
you
sick.
know, like you really like if you were just looking at it, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's like a toy, but like definitely a sketchy toy." But then you get in it, and you're just like, "Holy smokes, this is a full blown race car without any safety equipment."
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much everything you guys build is full blown performance, little safety.
It's not so much that I'm against safety. It's just that the aesthetics matters
Yeah,
a lot.
absolutely.
Because it matters a lot to me personally, but also matters a lot for like, YouTube and thumbnails and everything else.
gotta
And like,
look
you just can't put.
you can't put everybody's like, you got to put a roll bar on it. You got to put it wouldn't look like what it is. It would just be a ugly pile of crap with a plastic body on it.
Yep.
Sometimes safety is not first.
Yeah.
Second or third.
And I think that was something about the first video was just how cool and unique the first Mustang looked, because it was like a brand new channel from complete zero. Like my other YouTube endeavors didn't have any audience whatsoever. And we built it before we posted anything. And so we made the decision, we're like, we have to post the video of it just done ripping first.
Smart.
Otherwise, like, how
Very
are we going to
smart.
package our vision? And we don't have any trust. Like now we can do that, like build as we go and show it on YouTube, because people know that we're going to finish it and it's going to be good.
You deliver.
But then we were like, that was kind of like one little strategic move that I think really paid off. We're like, all right, it's done. It looks cool. It's like we unload it from a truck, drifted around this little pull out in a lake, and that was our very first video. What was crazy is now you hear it all the time, but even then you hear it all the time, like, oh, like you just need to like grind for years and years. But that first one really did go pretty viral. And since we didn't have monetization or anything, we like viral hog type deals that like license your footage for you. And so they licensed it, and it was like in the news in like 15 countries,
Yeah,
like our
it was
very
everywhere.
first thing. And it's probably still the most viral thing we ever did, except maybe the Barbie Jeep right thereafter.
Yeah, in terms of like reaching outside of YouTube, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, I think the chopper is probably.
I was
gonna
gonna say this
yeah.
monster chopper is gonna break the internet.
Yeah, like it's
so
already.
It's insane.
It already has.
It already has broken outside of YouTube for sure, and then once it's done, it definitely.
Yeah.
Man.
might-
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people waiting to see if it actually works.
Right,
Because there's so many people who don't think it will, but
Dude,
when it does,
I think that's the craziest thing you guys have built. And I
Oh,
have
without
a bunch
question.
of questions on that one. But
Yeah.
I remember when you guys first dropped that video and I saw it on YouTube, you guys maybe had like 500 subscribers. Like when I saw that, because I saw the video pop up and I was like, wow, this is a really good video. Like well put together. And then I saw you guys had like no subscribers. I was like, wow, this doesn't really make sense. And then sure enough, time caught up.
Yeah, I remember when we had still only posted that one video. I remember we were sitting up in the treehouse, which Edwin was living in at the time. He just actually came and lived in my treehouse. But we were just sitting up there because there was slightly better cell phone service to use as a hotspot for the computer to have internet access.
Wow.
that's how we uploaded it.
Yep.
I was gonna wonder,
and we watched
I've always
it.
wondered, how do you guys upload your videos out in the middle of nowhere?
Well,
like,
he
just takes days.
He uploads from his house now. He lives in town.
Okay, but
So,
back then you used to.
Or we'd
Hotspot.
go to town and just go to a coffee shop and upload it.
But there's most of them, like the first ones, just hotspot from the treehouse. And at night, it was a little bit better reception for some reason. So, yeah, hotspot from the treehouse did it.
Gotta
Yeah.
be
Dude,
one of the only videos ever uploaded in a treehouse
quite possibly, yeah.
of any significance.
Yeah.
At least.
But yeah, the point was, I remember we were just sitting up there watching the subscriber numbers tick over to the first 1,000 so that we could apply for monetization. But at that time, YouTube was for some reason super backlogged. And so it took like a couple months to get approved. So we had millions of views that could have been making money, but weren't. And that's why we did that. Like he said, that I think it was like Storyful or something like that. They just licensed the video and then gave us a percentage of the revenue, which of course normally is a really terrible deal, but it's better than
needed it at the
it's
time.
better than no revenue because we
Exactly.
couldn't monetize it. So
Man, that I think is a really good lesson to a lot of other like people that are trying to make it on YouTube, or they're just starting out, or they're doing it and it's not working. You guys applied that strategy to it. Because like it is so much more than just making, grinding and eventually getting lucky. Like you got to have a little bit of strategy for when you do get that to go. And I'm sure that video wouldn't have gone as viral if it would have just been, those little parts.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's obviously no mistake on how you guys became successful. Also, just your guys' love for adventure and lack of fear of trying new things. It seems that you can just tell from listening to your guys' stories. But no, that's a great lesson for anyone that's trying to become a YouTuber. So it was no mistake.
Yeah, and people kind of ask that, like, oh, was it luck, or it's like, I mean,
There's
yes,
a little
we
bit.
did get lucky in the sense that it actually worked, but it was planned. Like it was very.
It takes
intentional.
more than just
Yeah.
luck. You got to have everything else align.
Right.
And you see it more and more now that YouTube's algorithm's getting better at just showing you what videos are the best. Like people coming out of nowhere with just a really cool idea and it just takes off.
Yeah, good ideas always prevail.
And stories.
Yeah.
But
stories,
even the idea is almost a little more important because you could have the best story, but if it doesn't look right or have something that catches you, then it like...
I mean, it's a full package. Like
Yeah.
the title, thumbnail,
It's
the
a
idea.
full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a chart I could run through, but don't need to. But that's something also like that played into our advantage is we got lucky in the fact that the third video got some traction. And I mean, I'm not saying it blew up, but when you have 7 subscribers and then it gets 1,000 views and then 10,000 and 30,000, whatever, that really puts some gasoline on the fire and then makes you want to keep going. Like I'm sure it's very hard where you're you've posted 50 videos and you're actually trying and you're not getting anywhere.
And also, if you have one early on that gets those views, it gives you a direction. Like you can go, oh, this works.
Yeah.
Do more of this. Whereas like you said, if you're getting just 40, 45, 50, if like you're just slowly building the views for each video, you don't have any indication of what is better than anything else because it's just this like really slow build. Whereas if you
it was enough motivation for us to be like, this could definitely be something. Let's just not work for 6 months and just do this and see what happens.
Yeah, and we just kind of both of us were lucky in that we were self-employed at the time. He was doing filming, I was doing construction. And so we could just like work a week here and then take a few weeks off. And like, you had a trip planned or something. So like while you were on that trip, I built a shed for somebody and made some money and paid the bills. And then we came back and then, so we started in April. And like, I think the first time we made enough money to like cash a check was like September, October of that year.
Yeah. And that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, cause I had a friend in high school who was one of the first monetized YouTubers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Who was it? What was his name?
Do you know Des and Nate?
I don't think I do.
Okay. They're like early comedians on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he had this like really viral joke that got memed that was like, guns don't kill people, people with mustaches do. I don't know if you've heard it, but like it was like mad viral. It was like, most of the like big YouTubers you think of now, like this was before that.
Right.
Like was even
Getting
a
a
thing.
million views on YouTube when there's not that many people using the platform, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. But it seemed like very unobtainable at the same time because at that time it was all pranks and comedy that were the only things getting that kind of views besides your occasional cat video. But like I knew it was possible. Ethan had viral videos. He knew it was possible. So we were like, when we had that little blimp of success, we were like, all right, let's just go for it. It kind of made that decision pretty easy. Like it seemed like a no-brainer to us at the time.
Yep.
That's cool.
Were either of you guys plumbers? How'd we land on Grand Hood Plumbing?
That's definitely a story for Edwin. But to answer your first question, no, neither of us were ever plumbers. I have been paid to do plumbing, but I was not a licensed plumber.
Not certified.
It was
not
very
certified.
I'm not a licensed plumber.
It's like, I thought it'd be so funny because I was thinking that these like kind of little goofy projects would get us to the point where we're building like full-on race cars sooner. But then the goofy projects ended up being so much fun. I was like, well, I don't even want a race car. We can't use them in Idaho.
Yeah.
Like I want little buggies.
Yeah.
Like when we first got the Barbie car running, like we think we both thought that it'd be kind of fun and like it'd look really cool. But when we first started driving it up and down the driveway at my house, we were like, this is so much more fun than a dirt bike. Like the dirt bike that I took the engine out of was not like a race bike. It was a CRF 230, which was perfect because it was air cooled and electric start. But like as a bike, it was really not exciting. As a bike, it felt slow. As a go-kart, it was like the most terrifyingly fast thing you could imagine.
Yeah. And so I thought, when I still thought, okay, the end goal is for a plumbing company to be on a race car is hilarious. Let alone like, because I see these YouTuber garages like full of race cars. I'm like, if they all had plumbing company logos on it, that's so funny.
Imagine you guys actually do it. You're like, well, we did it.
Well, we did last
Like, we're out of here.
Last night we achieved that dream.
Oh
You're
my
right.
gosh,
No
that's
way.
going full circle.
We had a race car in an actual official race that said Grindhard Plumbing Co. on the side of it. So
Yeah, man. Let me
Amazing.
tell you, you're a reckless racer.
Dude.
You were driving like a
Yes.
maniac out there. You were taking people out, hitting people. I was Cletus mad at you at one point
I think Cletus is an expert entertainer.
because you guys were under caution. He kind of like hit
Yeah,
you.
no, he
I've never seen
slammed
that.
into me from behind and then pit maneuvered me.
Yeah.
But he pulled up next to me and then like gave me a thumbs up and was like, "Hey, I was just doing that for fun. Like, you're good."
You're like my
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks."
Good one, buddy.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah,
So,
I saw that. I was like, ooh.
At first, though, I thought he was actually
You're
pissed,
like-
and I
Yeah,
was
you're
like,
like,
"Oh
oh,
no!"
man.
I was like,
You're
"I
like,
came here
I'm
to
not getting an invite back.
Exactly. But then when I jumped the car, or when I got crashed and went airborne, like
Yeah, I
and
saw that
picture was
picture.
in his. I was like, all right, we might get another invite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
it-
was legendary.
At the end of the day, it's all about entertainment.
You were the only
Right.
guy that went in the air out there that night.
Yeah. And I kind of did it twice because the other time I got pinched between two cars, my front end like went up between them.
You are so funny.
Did you guys have a run in?
So funny.
Yeah, we did, dude. So I was like next to you, and I was like, "All right, we got a podcast with them tomorrow. I'm not trying to piss them off, you know, like whatever."
Yeah,
and
it's
then you
racing,
came
man.
in, it was just boom. It was the hardest I got hit the whole race.
I don't even remember that,
Yeah,
ethanly.
exactly. You were just playing
Blacked
bumper
out.
Ethan just
cars
blacked
there.
out, yeah.
But you just wailed into me, and I
From
was like,
behind or
from the
side?
side.
Okay,
I think I was kind of running in the middle, and then you were trying to go low, and we were just right next to each other.
Yeah.
Just boom, and I was like, "All right,
Oh,
game on, dude."
I do remember that, but there's multiple red cars out there, so I didn't know it was you. I thought that
Oh,
was
yeah.
because the muscle was behind me, Keaton. He was behind me for a bunch of the race, so when I did that, I thought it was him that I hit.
Oh, I
But
was kidding.
It's so funny that you two were next to each other like the entire
Yeah,
time.
I felt he was always right behind
Yeah,
me.
Yeah.
It was funny because we call Ryan's car the Red Etny because Evan wears red Etnies,
Well, he used to until he trashed him, but yeah.
and
the
there
car
was two of
trash
them, so
walked
there's
to-
two
the
like
car's
little red
trashed now,
Etnies
too.
running around.
Yeah. You guys were on like polar opposites of the
driving spectrum.
driving spectrum.
Yeah.
You were almost debatably demo derby out there. And Ryan was not trying to piss anyone off. He didn't want to piss you off because you were coming on the podcast tomorrow. He didn't want to piss Cletus off because it was his race. He didn't want to hit Heavy D because he's our friend.
But
So-
I did. But I did.
Yeah, he ran into you, Ryan.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
you
kinda.
apologized to him. You're like, I'm sorry. But yeah, Ryan was just being so nice out there, and you were just
trying to
out
avoid
for
the
blood.
crashes.
Yeah, well, apparently I was still being too nice because every time we were under caution,
You were getting passed.
people just whipped around me.
that was
and-
bullshit.
Yeah, what was
I
up
know.
with that?
Because at the driver's meeting, they said, you cannot pass under caution except when we do the lane split thing.
Yep.
And no one paid attention to that rule. And then one time they came over the comms and said, hey, driver such and such, get in behind so-and-so, you're out of position. And so I thought they were going to do that anytime it happened. And just
Yeah.
every time people were just whipping
Yeah,
by
people
Yeah.
were like,
and not.
they had that outside rule where if you were on the inside, there's two lanes, and say there's two cars on the outside, and you're like number 6, you could jump up to number,
Right.
3 on the outside lane, which I wish
Well,
we would've-
that's like that was part of the explained
Yeah.
rules, but I mean, I'm talking like as soon as
Yeah.
we go yellow, I was like caution, staying behind the car, and people would just whip by me while they're like, saying,
Yeah.
the comms, caution,
Caution.
caution,
Yeah.
and then somebody just goes whoo, and passes 4 cars,
Yeah.
and no one did
And
anything
fills
about
you
it.
in.
got to look at it. There's a helicopter on
There
the
is,
line.
yes.
If you're not cheating,
See,
are you really trying?
Yeah. If you're not
What
cheating,
I-
you're not racing.
Right. At the driver's meeting, I took the rules as rules, and everybody else took them as suggestions. So
Yeah.
next time, I know to be a little more aggressive.
That's the thing. A lot of those guys had like 8 races under their belts.
Exactly.
And,
So
they've been racing also their whole life, whereas you guys, like, this is your first run
I feel
of
a lot better. Like, if we raced today, I would do a lot better today
sure.
because I now understand.
You got so much better as the race went on. Like, you could just tell you were getting confidence, and then you were, figuring out. The one thing that we were lacking as a team that we did not do any service to Ryan on is he didn't have a right mirror. Yeah. His car had no mirror on the right side, which is pretty important, being like it'd be nice to see who's coming up. And everyone else had these like intercom things, like a spotter up in the stands. Like,
did you guys do that? No, I was out there.
That would have been huge because like we could have been able to be like, Ryan, scoot to the outside because every time there was a caution, you would go from, let's say you're at one point you were in 7th place, you went back to like 11th.
Yeah.
That would have just been huge. So next time we're bringing an intercom system. Maybe we'll bring like Haley Deegan and have her be the spotter and just be like telling
what to do.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Turn left.
Yeah. That was a hell of an event, though.
Did you,
Ryan, from start to finish?
Yeah, it was.
It was
Did
so
you ever
good.
use your NOS?
I did. Yes.
I forgot it existed.
Oh, yeah, it helps.
But also, I was definitely going to save it for the end.
Yeah.
And like, I just never
didn't make it to the end.
No, it didn't make it to the end. Exactly. So I was saving it for the end, and then also I just forgot about it entirely because I was just focused 100% on it.
I had a lot more than I thought. I figured I had like 10 uses, and I started using it with like lap 80. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to try to get up close to the front. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Like, everybody is like, you'll be able to go from the back to the front in 5 laps.
That's not true.
I don't know how to, that's not true. So I was like, I'm going to try to fight my way up. And I had a lot more. I had more to go when my car died.
Yeah.
Abruptly.
Next time I'll have to remember the NOS button.
Yeah.
My car also had, Derek from Vice Grip looked at it and he knows everything about all of the cars. And he's like, oh yeah, this one's this and it has a 308 limited slip differential. So apparently I had like the highest geared differential there, which means higher top speed, but that's irrelevant on the track. So
yeah, because you're not topping it out.
Exactly. And so I had less acceleration. And I could see it every time we pulled out a caution. I would just get left behind.
Same with him.
That's mine too,
Ryan
dude.
was
I don't know.
slow.
We might have both had that.
I'd hit the gas and everybody else would move. And I'd even try to jump. Like I'd lay back and then be like, all right, and wait to kind of like come up on people. And every time someone would just dip on the ground and then blow by me.
Even Whistling came up after and was like, yo, like your car was like really slow out there. And like, he wasn't saying like you were driving slow, but he was like, no, like seriously, like we'd be like next to each other and I would just go right past you like on the straightaway.
Yeah. And that's,
dude, I don't know how the frick he's finding that many Crown Vics. Like that dude's got a heck of an event going on.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
None of them can go to the auctions anymore. They have to send like new people each time because then the auctions know and they'll up the price. They'll jack the prices up. They'll be like, oh, it's Cletus. The price is triple.
Dude.
Wow.
So he sends like people that are not even like
affiliated with
yeah,
it.
right.
Wow.
That event is every time I go, I am mind blown. Like just to put that event on,
it's insane.
And let alone like the fact that he's facilitating it, and then he's got an intercom in his helmet, and he's talking to the people in the crowd as he's racing. Like they're like, "Oh, tune in to Cletus, see what he has to say." He's like, "Yeah, it's pretty gnarly out here," you know. But like, no, honestly, and then the fireworks show.
Monster trucks.
He knows how to put on a hell of a show. Like it is so fun every time we go.
It was surreal. Like I was thinking about watching Cletus's videos, like before we were doing anything, just like from iPhones and burnouts on YouTube to what we saw last night, the first ever sold out Freedom 500, like the execution of the ideas, but also just like what YouTube is enabling people to do is insane. Like it would have taken all these teams and you would have had to get permission from all these gatekeepers.
You would have had to have investors and you would have had a board of people that make decisions.
The people at this top of the production company never would have give Cletus a shot. Like, oh, what do? You just build drag racing cars? Yeah, that's not a show. Like, maybe if you were, half rat person, then we'd make that into a show or something. You know?
I think,
but it's like that's the power of YouTube, and it's just so cool. That's why I'm so obsessed with it. It's just the democratization of
media,
business in general. Like, it's so cool.
To make it to that level of success on YouTube is extremely hard to do. That if you can do that, you can do pretty much anything. Like I think it just shows that you have the willpower and what you set your mind to. If you put that into anything, you'll be able to accomplish.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about like luck and stuff, and I think that there's very little luck involved with Cletus's whole story operation. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I was saying about the entertainment and like him bumping me in the crowd, like he 100% knows what people want to see.
Yeah,
he knows how to.
He's just trying to be awesome.
So
like,
trying to be
Cletus. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. Like he just knows how to entertain people no matter how he's doing it. And that's why people will watch his content even if he's flying RC airplanes.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with anything he built his channel on, but he knows how to entertain people to a greater extent than a lot of other,
I was thinking about that last night. I was laying in bed and I was like, man, that was so crazy. I can't believe I did that. And I was thinking for all like the people at home that are watching, how lucky we are as people who watch it to like be alive in this time and watch him do something like that that's never been done before.
Right.
Like, that's completely uncharted territory that he's like putting his brain to and making it happen. And people will do things like it probably forever now.
Yeah.
But for him to reinvent what it is to be an online, like be a YouTuber, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in such an early stage of all this.
That's what I mean, dude.
I'd say all of us are kind of pioneering
something.
This path in a sense.
And to reinvent yourself constantly, like we kind of reinvented ourselves this summer with like longer videos and like crazier projects, but still I'd say relatable projects was kind of like our goal. And I think that paid off really well. And you guys reinvented yourselves this year and it seems to be paying off big time. Like, you guys are going like crazy and the videos are just getting better and better. And there's like not a dull moment in a video you posted for the last year. Is there like a lull? No.
Try to keep it pretty high.
Yeah, but that reinvention is it's more fun to make, it's more fun to do, and it's more fun for the viewer. So this kind of like highly competitive YouTube world is making things better, which is really cool.
I don't know if I'd say that we reinvented. I'd say we evolved. That's probably maybe a better word for us. Like, we just keep evolving and trying to just make everything better. Like, right now we've been really focusing on building the back end of our team, the support of what we are doing, because it takes so much, as you guys know,
right?
Just to do this week after week after week after week. We're coming on 8 years of doing this, and just to make it more sustainable, building that back end support, like getting our fabricators, because we don't know how to build like you guys do, and just all the people on our team. A lot of people used to always be like, whoa, you got so many people on your channel. Like, I remember back in 2018, 2019. And now it's like every big YouTube channel has a team around them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Huge
it used to be
teams.
like, why don't you all just have your own, or, how are you going to make that work? But now it's like, if you don't have a team, it's like, you're not even.
I think the biggest thing for us too is being from Minnesota and having no YouTubers around us. Like, there's no one to really talk to, and like, for the longest time, we had never even met another YouTuber to like bounce ideas off of, or be like, so how does this work for you? And so we just had to figure it out, like trial and error for the first like 5 years before, like, kind of get some insider information.
You're
but
so small, you can't really contact anyone. And
I mean, we had the same
thing.
I mean,
Exactly.
we live in the middle of nowhere too.
just kind of figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing for us, though, is trying to like build out the team, because we want to do this, for a long time.
Right.
Like, the runway should be super, super long as we can continue to make good videos, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. But like, trying to avoid burnout by, just like running ourselves into the ground, just because it is so taxing, and,
For sure.
especially on the builds, like not trying to burn out our fabricators of like these crazy timelines, and trying to just like make that clear too. If we like miss a video upload on a Thursday, we upload every Thursday, and if we miss, people are like, "Yo, you guys are slacking. Oh, you're just like taking a vacation,
lazy.
Yeah,
they have no idea."
It's like, no, we're trying to make a bigger and a better video, and sometimes that takes more than 7 days. But I know you guys are on the schedule too every Friday, so you know the grind of it.
Same thing,
Yeah, and it's hard too, because sometimes it's like, okay, we set up a video for this is the first time we start this project. Like, we just released the first start of the Monster Chopper. We were planning on it being a first test drive, but we couldn't get it in time, So it's like, things like that are really hard and you can't plan for it. And if you have that deadline, then it's like weird. We're never really ahead. it's hard because you almost need to reinvent the video on the last day. Like, all right, now this video is about the first start, even though there's a bunch of clips of us talking about, okay, to get it running, we got to fix the brakes, this and that. And then,
but your audience loves that. That's what they want to see, is you guys building it and figuring it out. And
yeah, and that's, I mean, a lot of them are really there for the, you know, the realism of it. Like the people when you show your mistakes and stuff, like some people don't show that at all, and we always get comments when we do, you know, when I build something that totally doesn't work and I have to redo it. They're like, wow, that's awesome. Like, it's cool to see
seeing that.
Yeah. It makes it, you know, keeps it relatable. And like,
I'm sure you get the opposite though of like, oh, you idiot, you should have done it like this.
Every time. Yeah.
Every day there's somebody smarter than you.
Oh yeah. Every day.
Which is so funny too.
Especially the chopper build. There's like every video has about 1,000 experts that know why it's not going to work and how to do it better.
Of course.
And like, you know, you just can't really listen to those.
Well, the thing is they're seeing a final product of it, not something is easier to replicate.
Yeah.
So at the end, it makes sense to anybody. Like even with the steering thing, you did hydraulic for a while. I looked down and went, oh, that doesn't work because it's too slow. But you had to think and make all that happen. And then at the end of it, you go, that's too slow.
Right.
I have to figure out how to make it better now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's easy in hindsight when you see the full thing to go, oh, it's much better this way.
Right.
But when you're standing there in the garage after 15 hours of breathing, you know, welding dust and all that, and you're like, how the heck does this all have to go together?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
it'd still be hard to replicate, even if you look
gosh,
at like, I'd like to see any of these comment warriors replicate it. You could even like give them everything, the dimensions. I'd love to see them build it.
Right.
Like, good luck, man.
Yeah.
Unless you know, just
I mean,
everyone talks big in the comments.
It's probably going to be 1,000 hours by the time it's done.
Oh my God.
And, like, I'm not
so
keeping
wild.
track, but it's I would be surprised if it
we
was less
should
than
on the
1,000.
next big build.
That would be
that'd
actually
be
really
interesting.
interesting stat.
We kind of did on the kernel keep track, because we just kept track of days. At that time, Edwin was marking each day in the video. Like, it'd be like the first episode, you know, day 1, 2, 3, and so we actually had like a pretty good estimate of days, and then we kind of got an hour estimate from there. This one, I know it's been 6 months or something of like most of every week working on it, aside from when we're on trips like this. But yeah, I would assume it's going to be close to 1,000 hours. And like, not to say that there aren't other people out there that could do it, but you have to have like 6 different skill sets just to build it. Like, there's 50 parts on that, 50 plus parts that are machined on the mill and the lathe, or you know, one or the other.
And you need to have an understanding of
you have
engines and electrical.
Right, exactly. The wiring. Like,
engineering,
I did you have to be able to do the wiring. You have to be able to do the welding, the bending of the pipe, the CAD to design the parts in, you know, to cut them. Like, it's a skill set that normally to build a product like that, you'd have like 8 different people doing each job. And there are other builders out there who do all those jobs, but like the average person watching it is like, they just see it happen and it's like, oh yeah, cool.
But then on top of that, you're talking to the camera, trying to make a entertaining video.
Yeah, put
so
on a
like
smile when
that
you're
makes it
stressed out.
even harder in a sense.
Yeah.
Like wrenching on your vehicle is, you know, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but wrenching on your vehicle with a camera and you're trying to like make it
entertaining.
At least for us, it pretty much doubles the workload,
especially the amount of time it takes.
You got to wait.
He's going to pull apart the tank, and Steve and I are like, wait, like, it takes us a while. Like, we got the motion time lapse slider and like lights, and like, you know, we're setting up, and Ethan's just sitting there like, hey, let's go. I want to get this done today, you know. But every time it's honestly kind of fun getting the comments like, this will never work, because every time we read them, Ethan's like one day I just came up in the morning and he was like showing me like he was like, I don't think it won't work for that reason. He's like, if this works at all, I'm going to drive it to Sturgis. I was let's go.
Yeah,
that sounds
what is
amazing.
the final idea?
I mean, the idea is just to make it work, you know, like
We'll be able to drive it down. Do you want to be able to do like trails with it?
No, I mean, trails is completely out of the question. It's probably going to be over 1,000 pounds. Like, you're not going to ride a 1,000-pound bike on a trail. But I mean, I'm just guessing, wildly guessing. But each tire probably weighs over 200. So you're starting at that.
It would fit in so nicely at Sturgis. They would actually really appreciate it.
Well, they actually, somebody
like,
from Sturgis like reached out to us through somebody else, and they were like, hey, what can we do to help you get here? So
you're aiming for this summer then, Sturgis?
Yeah, I mean, the bike's mostly finished.
We should go to Sturgis too. Like,
let's do it.
We don't need to jump on your guys' video, but we would just meet up with you guys down there and hang, because I've always wanted to go to Sturgis.
Yeah,
and maybe get some wild hogs, you know, a couple choppers. Maybe Ken will get a trike. I could see him on a trike, or maybe we do like a sidecar on Evan's
that's probably
bike
more
and Mike
realistic.
rides in the sidecar. I could see that. Like,
with his laptop.
yeah,
with his
I
laptop
could
in the
see it.
sidecar.
I could see it.
Let's do it. That'd be fun
Yeah.
to do together too.
That would be a
Will
blast.
built his CBR 1000 swapped Honda Ruckus, which
So,
is just like a
take that.
scooter. But that
How
would
is
be really
how is that
insane.
perceived down there in Sturgis? Like, if I showed up on my R6, would I get my ass kicked?
I don't think so.
No, it's just
I think it's just
motorcycle
bikes.
lovers.
Everything's
Okay.
bikes.
Yeah, like
or
we
all
did.
bikes.
Will and I were here for an event, and we happened to be in Daytona at Bike Week, and there was all kinds of crotch rockets, and there's a bunch of custom ruckuses, like the ones with like the bags and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
cool.
it was mostly Harleys and baggers and choppers. I think motorcycle people just love motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's like maybe kind of cliquey areas of Bike Week, and I assume Sturgis is similar. Like maybe there's a bar where it's like only Sportsters or something. I don't know.
No,
But-
there wouldn't be a bar for that because Harley guys call Sportsters the girls'
Yeah.
bike.
Yeah.
If you ride a Sportster, like hardcore Harley guys think you're
Yeah.
just
Oh,
an
okay.
amateur. They're like,
Yeah, you don't.
even
That's like
talk
the
to that
beginner
guy.
bike. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the Weenie Hut Junior of the bars in Sturgis.
I'd probably have to get a Harley. Just if we're going to Sturgis, I don't think I'd have the nuts to drive my R6 down there.
Yeah.
Probably be a
Just feel
long
out of
trip,
place.
too.
You should just half track the R6, put a tire in the front, leave the track in the back, ride that around.
Oh my god.
I don't think you'd be able to go to Sturgis though. The track
you
would
could-
burn up in about the first
Yeah.
20 miles.
You'd have to trailer it there
yeah.
and probably like get one of those tracks for like the snowmobiles that race on grass kind of a thing.
That would be kind of
Put
cool.
bogey wheels instead of high
There we go.
factions. You'll be fine.
We could do that on the Harley, like the snow bike Harley. that
Yeah,
we
there you
built.
go.
A half-tracked Harley at Sturgis.
You guys ever been to Sturgis? I asked that.
No, not at all. I don't claim to know that the chopper is going to be that rideable. I just know that if I'm capable of riding it, I will.
It
Like,
will look- yeah.
I don't doubt that one
Like,
bit.
Yeah.
Like I know it's possible to ride it to some extent. I don't know if it's possible to ride it that far or that fast, but I'll try.
Maybe you're not cornering at 60, but you
Yeah.
know, I think it
Well-
will work enough to like ride to town or whatever.
Oh yeah, and that's really my goal is like I want it to work well enough to ride it to town because like Sturgis is probably 800 miles or something.
Yeah.
So like to do that feasibly, it'd have to be able to maintain comfortably a speed of like at least 60, 55 miles an hour to be able to make that plausible in a reasonable time frame. So if that's not possible, it's fine. We'll trailer it there and then just ride it around while
Yeah.
we're there. But
Which would be cool.
at least to be able to ride it to town, that's the goal.
It's so bringing up like our bikes, well, our street bikes that are now snow bikes. You talked about a competitive nature of YouTube, but it is kind of cool that I feel like a rising tide raises all boats. We did the R6. You guys did the Hayabusa snow bike in like the same time frame.
It's
Although
so-
we're friends, we didn't
Yep.
talk about it.
No,
Yeah,
and
we
it's
had no idea.
It's really funny because your R6 video dropped like a week before ours, but I was already building the boost. Like I
Yeah,
was,
you already
obviously
knew.
you know how the time frames work. Like,
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like 1 week and every single comment you copied the CBoys. Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Dude, we were getting that. We copied you,
Yeah, right.
and you guys did it after us, and we were like, "This, we can't do anything
Right.
nowadays
can't
without
wait.
being a copycat."
But it's funny because, like, yeah, okay, sure. I watched your video, and in 1 week, I drove to Seattle, bought a Hayabusa, brought it home, got a timber slip kit, put it on it, and filmed the video.
I know
way.
that's what it
Totally.
doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
just because you wanted to copy us.
Yeah,
Right.
just because I was like,
It's
wow,
that
that's a
easy.
good idea.
Yeah,
that
it'll
easy.
be really good to post that next week.
Also, like, if we're talking copying people, like, freaking Stunt Freaks team did a Gixxer 1000 snow bike like 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we're all copying someone.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
no
it's
one's
hard
the
to be
first.
the
Feel like
first.
an artist.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of funny how
Yeah.
how things like that work.
It's hilarious.
Do you
yeah.
read Austin Kleon?
I
Feel like an artist?
I just know of it from.
Oh.
I haven't read.
oh,
I don't know
okay.
how.
I
He doesn't even know how to
He's
read.
tried.
They make
Yeah.
audiobooks.
Yo, I should do that.
Yeah.
I
It's
just-
hard
I've
of
heard
hearing,
people talk
too, a
about it,
little
yeah.
bit.
Well, you said that title, and it's funny because I read all of his books every month.
Really?
How
Wow.
do you have time?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure
He
it
doesn't
out.
I'm a
sleep a lot.
nerd.
He also doesn't sleep a whole lot.
Do you not sleep much, or what? Like, how many
Well,
hours of sleep a night you getting?
I don't know.
Typically.
Because I grew up with insomnia and I didn't really know it. And then when I was DJing, I was like making music all day and DJing all night. So like maybe like 3-4 hours. I don't know.
A night?
But then like now I sleep like a baby, but just every little free time I have, I just cram in. I'm either like working on YouTube, editing all night, reading creative books. It's just pretty much the world that I live in, and I like don't stray out of that world. But now I probably sleep like 6 hours a night pretty well.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And we kind of have like a somewhat of a 9 to 5 structure.
Yeah.
So
you have time for personal development out of it,
Right.
even though it is probably watching YouTube, it's figuring out what you're going to do. But
yeah,
I mean, you were talking earlier about like long-term sustainability and burnout and stuff. And like, I think that's a large part of why, we've gotten as far as we have without dealing with too much of that, is like having a structure of like, okay, weekends are weekends. Like if you want to work on channel stuff, sure. But we're not like all here obligated to do it. We're not trying to keep that separation and schedule.
Yeah.
You got to have time for yourself and to do things that aren't like, and it really, I think at the end of the day, you, you come back refreshed and motivated instead of just like, if you're just doing it nonstop, like you're going to get burnt out.
Yeah. And we love
Except
what we're doing
Cletus,
so
apparently
much.
he just lives and sleeps and dreams
God.
and just never stops running.
Yeah.
Like Thursday when we got here for practice, like he was just literally running all day. Like he was running away from me, and like he was like running and jump over a fence, and I was like, "Do you ever stop running?" And he's like, "Occasionally."
Not this weekend.
Yeah. But anyway,
That is wild.
I think too, we love it so much it doesn't feel like burnout. Like, because there are some times where we work like 3
100%.
weeks straight, stay up all night editing videos and stuff, and then the next day I just wake up and start again. Like I don't even think like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, this is exhausting. Like, I mean, I could speak for myself. I'm such a big YouTube nerd. I like just don't think about anything else. So like sometimes if Ethan's gone for a week or if we don't have something to do for a day, I'll just like make a video and upload it on my personal channel. Like it's like,
Really?
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
can't
crazy.
stop it. I drive my wife crazy.
Yeah.
Like we're on Italy and I'm like, I bet you could make a YouTube channel just like with a camera on a tripod filming like the ocean for 3 hours and upload that and people would love it. Like I just like can't turn it off.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Part
I
of
mean-
the insanity of why it works.
right.
You
And
know,
that's
like why what you
like-
guys doing works.
obviously in my, court of what we do, like it's the same thing. My wife is in the Army and she's been stationed in El Paso for the most of 3 years. So,
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So I go down there to visit her periodically, whenever I can, and I'll be there for like a week. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like either like imagining a build or like sometimes I'll take the laptop and do CAD. Like I don't know how to not be thinking about that. Like even when I'm not physically doing it, I'm still, planning builds, thinking up ideas. Like it's just always there.
I mean, we can relate to that.
yeah.
But I'm definitely not making YouTube videos and posting them on a
extra
second
ones.
channel.
True, yeah.
But it's probably really hard for the listener to like understand where we're coming from. But there just is something when you're doing creative that burnout can occur.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, for a couple years there, like I was off and on feeling very burnt out, and all along I knew that part of it is like dealing with a long distance relationship through that as well, like living alone and all of that. But then I got on antidepressants and realized that I was actually just depressed. Not
Really?
like as soon as I switched that, I was like, oh yeah, I have all the motivation again. It wasn't really. I mean, obviously, there's always like moments where you feel burnt out when things aren't going well or whatever. But yeah, that changed a lot for me. And like, I always try to talk about it whenever it comes up because like mental health is super important. And what we do, I think, is really not the best for your mental health, like for anyone.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
for
terrible,
it,
right?
honestly.
It's like, it's just you're nonstop in the spotlight, like, reading all the comments. And like, we all try to like not take them to heart, but you can't read a negative comment and not feel it. And like that and just the nonstop pressure to one up yourself and just keep getting more and more. And it's just
Right.
like, it's kind of an inherently unsustainable concept, really. So like trying to make it sustainable.
But it's like how long can you keep doing it? But
Right.
That's
But-
why we're doing this back end thing.
Exactly. And there's totally ways to make it sustainable, but like just that, just sort of the nature of trying to always expand exponentially. It's like that there's very few things in reality that actually happen that way. And so, but yeah, anyway.
Our last video was our shop tour. Like it was Wednesday and we were kind of wrapping up on filming. We had been working, like cleaning it, getting everything we were still trying to get it done because we had planned for that Thursday because we needed to have it done. So the following week we could actually film in there and do this build that we're trying.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, Wednesday, I'm like nervous. I'm like, God, like I really hope this video turns out. Like I was like worried. I'm like, God, is this even gonna be good? Like, does anyone want to watch this? Like we got a million people that are for sure gonna tune into this. I do not want to let them down, and then ends up turning out great. But
right. But yeah, there's always
people
that.
loved it. But No, for sure. Like I feel you on that. Like it is very taxing as far as that goes.
Well, it's a lot of responsibility for like
Feels a lot,
just a handful of people to tackle, you know, because if you've got like a really big ad campaign with a big business and you got 100 people working on it, part of that responsibility is divided up to make it, but also if it is good or not.
Right.
Like if one of our videos flop, if one of your videos flop, it's 100% because you didn't make a good enough video, and that's a lot to like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, that video was like not good.
Yeah, or if you build, like for me as a builder, like if I build something and it just totally doesn't work or breaks like the first time, or especially if we're going to an event, like this one, obviously we didn't bring anything, you know, to Cletus's, the Freedom 500, we didn't bring anything because he provides the cars for that, and we didn't have anything for burnouts and whatever. But like we've done events like race things or going to King of the Hammers or something like that, or like driving all the way to Moab, and then like you get it out on the trail and it just immediately breaks, and it's like, well, now what? You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I mean,
Not only did your thing just break, but what are you going to do for the video?
exactly. Yeah.
You're like,
More so
"Holy crap."
more so for the video. It's like we got all the way here, and now what's the video? You know, when we've had that.
The schedule is what creates that though. Like
Exactly. It's
that
the time
worry.
constraint. Yep.
It's that's the choke.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
Do you guys have any like creative differences as far as when you're like going through making a video? Because you're the builder, you're the filmer and editor, like two completely different worlds that have to collab to make it work.
Not very often.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's times where there's like parts that I leave out of the video or put in the incorrect order. And Ethan's very
He doesn't.
I'm
Like
very linear. I like things to be like
very accurate.
logical and so
and sometimes he'll like describe something and like it just didn't work in the video, or it made too big of a lull, you know.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I got to get around this. And then sometimes Ethan's like, oh, you didn't put the part of me explaining this thing, or
and
like,
then that didn't make sense.
yeah.
And like,
or you showed the handlebars before you showed that, even
Right.
though I did that first, and I did that first for a reason.
right.
Yeah.
And like I'm with him. Like the people watching our videos do want to learn about building, I think.
Right.
At the same time, it's like it would have been much less entertaining to do that way. So
Right.
I think like that's probably our biggest creative differences. Is I have a no problem like rearranging the order a little bit to like
For
make
attention.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
make it a little
And-
more entertaining.
You
And
gotta
I've also
package
learned that that's like over time, I've also kind of realized that that's more important, and sometimes it doesn't matter. I mean, it still bugs me internally, but I don't like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't let it like be an issue because I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, whatever. I mean, sometimes Edwin will come up with an idea for a build and I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to build that. But, you know, or like, I don't think that's possible or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the creative process and stuff. So
One of the guys said it a while back, and I can't remember, but the mutual understanding of that whatever decision you make is for the betterment of the team. You're not doing it. You're not taking stuff out of the video because you don't want to put him in it. You just want to make it better.
Right.
And that mutual understanding, no matter how our videos play out, that decision's made with the group's best intent,
Right.
always seems to win overall.
yeah.
In this point of, I guess you could say, contention, Will fills in that gap perfectly.
Right.
Because Will's like the newest guy on our channel, the newest member of the team, and he's full time with us now. And so my really stupid ideas that Ethan doesn't want to do, that he doesn't want anything to do with, like the Chang Li, Will is like so easy to get hyped on
It's a
that.
nice
and
tiebreaker.
Go for it.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
a nice tiebreaker.
It's like our Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it gives
and
Ethan
it's
time
not-
to work on the harder
Right.
stuff too.
It's not even a tiebreaker because then I'm just like, sure, do what you want. Like,
Yeah.
it gives me time to work on what I want to work
Exactly.
on and like keeps us going with content. So I
I've
don't know.
noticed that you guys have done that, like especially the bigger builds that you're doing. You need more time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some
But-
of those chopper videos were 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, of labor, like
Yeah.
3-4 weeks of me working on it for one video.
Yeah.
You got to
So-
pick it up, man. Just do it all
Yeah.
in 1 week and
Oh,
get
yeah,
that
yeah.
video out on
Yeah,
Thursday,
yeah.
and then do it all the next
Yep.
week and
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Fridays for when you post. But
Yep.
yeah,
I think sometimes because Ethan's extremely resourceful and builds things right from the get-go. So I think sometimes it bothers him if we call it Swindle Brother Project because Will and I are just goofy.
We call them Will and Edwin are the Swindle brothers. They're not brothers in reality, but like they have the same kind of energy and attitude. And Will brought the word swindly to us, and it's just
Swindle.
I don't know
yeah,
if that's
yeah.
a good word to describe yourself.
swindle.
Like, now I'm
Yeah,
like,
brother.
where's my wallet? I'm gonna keep it away from that guy.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like literal swindling in terms of like stealing things or conning. It's just like it's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
have
a
a-
general
I love
like
it.
Yeah, we have
chaotic
a loose
nature.
definition on everything. Like the word premium could mean good or bad or something not even that. Like Swindley's the same way, but with Will, I think that some of the projects are maybe more wasteful or less resourceful than you would like. So he's like, that is just no, and then he'll just walk away and work on his own thing. But then we get, you know, we make our video, we have fun, we build a cool little weird contraption, and it works out normally. There was one that was so bad that we couldn't even show it on YouTube.
Yeah, that one was really bad, and I'm really glad it didn't get shown.
What was it?
I was gonna really be firm in my opinion that it should not be shown. Had that not been a group decision, I would have been like, I'm not okay with this.
Well, like Ethan said, his wife is on base in Texas, and so he'll leave like a week a month pretty much.
Lately it's been like every other month, but yeah.
So sometimes if we have an idea that we know is like not Ethan approved, we'll do it while he's gone.
That's like Mike and Ev, dude. Yeah, for us.
Yeah, actually.
Come up with something.
Yeah. And so this one, Will showed me this picture of this like kid on like a homemade raft of like plumbing pipes. And he was like big wouldn't it be funny if we made an amphibious go-kart with like plumbing pipes? And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
Because you'd been talking.
It's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, you're like, finally, plumbing pipes. Yes.
How do we bring this back to the name, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
But Edmund had been talking about an amphibious go-kart for a while, so like they'd been. Will brought in the idea of the plumbing pipes.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, okay, what if we do it with only supplies from Home Depot? It's like building a go-kart that's amphibious
and parts we had laying around
with
obviously.
all parts from the Home Depot parking lot, and we're gonna buy like one of those clear kiddie pools and put it in front of the Home Depot and like take the thumbnail like actually in front of Home Depot with our golf cart or go-kart. We were all hyped on it. I had to do some editing, so I was like gone for a couple days after starting the go-kart with Will, and it turned into a complete disaster. Like he got super stressed out and
demotivated. Will is really hyped at the beginning of a project, but then sometimes if he hits a certain point where like he realizes it's not the result he wants, it just completely flips, and he's like, he just wants to get it done as fast as possible, and it just is a downward spiral, because as soon as he loses motivation and gets stressed out, he just starts doing worse and worse work, and then he hates it more and more. It's just like it's not a good.
At the end of the day, it turned into a thing that had the front end of a Banshee and the rear end of like a custom go-kart type thing with like a bunch of smaller than there should be Home Depot pipes.
Only
like,
two of them actually. Only two. Like
wow.
3-inch ABS like drain pipe with caps on it, and only two of those.
It wouldn't have floated
with the frame bolted through the pipes, so like they weren't even really watertight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it looked terrible. It didn't function at all, and it
had a knockoff Honda Grom engine in it that barely ran, being the lowest point on the thing. So like the engine, it's a horizontal engine. That's how they're designed, but it was like under the seat in the middle, and like the whole engine would have been submerged immediately. Like,
so you had to scrap it, huh?
Yeah. That was the only thing that we built.
That's a pretty good idea, though.
Yeah,
like actually doing it completely out of like just replace all the metal with PVC. I guess you couldn't.
God,
he's like, don't say that.
Yeah, like there is a way that it could be done. That wasn't it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, though.
As a channel that makes like quality builds, you were like, I can't let this happen.
Exactly, because
well, they gotta work.
I mean, at this point, people know that Will builds stuff different than I do, but like at the same time, it's a channel that we've built together, and like
there's
my name is still associated with it, and like something that bad, I was like, I don't even want it.
It's got to function. Get that.
Yeah. But there later, like maybe like 4 or 5 months later, this video went pretty viral. I'd say it was like a fishing raft houseboat that was made 100% out of these pipes, but it had just a car kind of chassis underneath it. And it had these little flaps that rolled out when you were in the water. So as you turned the wheels of the car, they flapped and propelled the boat forward. And he had like a little fishing cooler and fished off of this little boat. And it was with like an electric thing with a solar panel. It's super sick. And it was like, I don't know, someone who wasn't speaking English, but he made like a montage for English speakers that were like just the building and no talking.
Interesting.
And it got like 7 million views in a couple weeks, and I was like,
"You're like kind of onto something."
I could see that popping on.
It really wasn't a problem of like of inspiration. It was a problem with execution.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. One day, if it ever comes down to like where you find out a way to execute right, That's a banger.
So, you know, for anyone listening, if the C-Boys suddenly release a video of an amphibious go-kart, maybe they did copy us.
Can we get that out next week?
Did you ever see our Hummer pontoon?
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
That was awesome.
That one actually worked a lot better than we had ever thought it was going to. Like, we took it out multiple times, took it to the sandbar that was like a mile away. So a mile there, a mile back.
Yeah.
I think really we only made it back on pure luck. Like watching how everything was starting to bend, like the pontoons would fold down so you could drive it down the highway. And one of the bolts like broke on the end. So it was starting to flip up. And
oh, you think so?
ideally, it would have still floated because they would have still been attached.
But it would have been like
submerged. Yeah, the weld on the thing on the hinge crack. So like we were losing structural integrity fast. But
forgot about that.
We'll have to have big wrench, just tidy it up a little bit. But it
yeah, that thing is awesome. It looked like you guys had a great time.
Oh, we did, dude. That thing was best.
so
We have a great idea for this summer. We'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
It's actually potentially could be the best thing we've ever done.
Okay.
so far.
Like,
Okay.
is
So far.
this vehicle that we're buying arguably the best vehicle we could ever buy? And then what we're gonna do with it? Oh, it's so good.
Oh, okay. I can't
so good.
wait.
I'm
Excited
getting
to hear
excited
it.
just
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever gotten serious trouble for any of like your water stuff? Like, I feel like people are so protective over water and like registering boats. Like,
Well,
have
we
you ever-
registered the Hummer pontoon.
and you
So-
were fine.
It was,
Yeah,
so
we
it was
registered
as a
it as
custom
a-
pontoon.
So no one
It's
gave
insured.
you any crap for that video.
I don't even want to put that out there.
knock on wood, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of the stuff, like especially with like waterways, like we really want to do like drive the Hayabusa snow bike across the lake, you
Pond
know.
skim it, yeah.
But then we're like, okay, but if we fall and that like pollutes the lake, one, that is like on us, like that's a crappy thing to do. But two, like I feel like you'd get in a lot of trouble for something like that.
No, to answer your question though, we try not to impede on like people's lives or like property or, you know, just be an
Inconvenience.
inconvenience.
Right,
Like
right.
just inconvenience anyone by us doing our thing. And it might seem that way in the videos, but most time we're very cautious
Yeah,
of
makes sense.
other people's time and just lives and their property and whatever. So
Yeah. If you prank someone, you're pranking someone like in the family. Like
yeah.
you're never in
exactly.
like random people's faces or like trying to
Yeah.
cause a stir with the police or anything.
Normally, if we prank someone, it's like us looking stupid and them just being like, "This guy's a fucking idiot." Like we're not trying to like,
make them.
we're not ruining their day.
Yup.
You know.
For the most part.
So what else? What have we done that was bad?
I don't know.
I mean,
about
we made
bad.
those valet drivers drive the shitty ass Lambos, but
No, that
he was
that one
chopping
doesn't
it up
come to mind.
afterwards, and we gave him a good tip, and he was
Yeah,
pumped. Like
yeah.
he was like, "You guys can stay here all day." Didn't care.
I think maybe like when we had Grandpa Ron pretend that my Lamborghini was his and that people were stealing it.
That one Asian guy, he got it pretty good. He
The rest of people thought it was funny though, because
Yeah.
we come on, we
He
tell
was
him like,
ticked.
"Hey, it was a joke. It was a joke."
Yeah, he was pretty not happy about it, but it was already done at that point.
What was done was done.
Yeah. Well, if you know someone's going to be bothered that easy, it's probably a good thing you bothered them. That's the way I see it too.
Yeah, I mean, he thought
That's one
that
way
he
to look
just
at
helped
it.
the guy steal a Lamborghini. That was funny.
That was funny. Well, how long we been going?
I mean, you guys got anything else?
That's solid. It was cool getting our story out in one place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
Somewhere
we've really
down, yeah.
done that before. So
Thank you
like-
guys for sharing.
Wait, okay. I think we kind of got off track when you were finishing it up, but Grind Hard Plumbing. Where's the
yeah.
Grind Hard Plumbing come from?
Oh,
You wanted to
I
put
thought
it on
it'd
a
be funny.
Yep.
To be on a bunch of race cars,
Right.
the plumbing, and then my friend just had Grind Hard tattooed across his stomach.
Damn.
Not me, to be clear. Not me.
Like with the curve around his belly button.
Yeah, kind of.
Grind
Grind
hard.
hard.
all the way across. Yeah.
Was he just in the club one day and he's like, I should put grind
Fucking
hard on
grind
there.
up in this bitch.
I'm not sure what the motivation there was.
Okay,
I
so
love
you
it.
saw his tattoo and you were like, "Is it cool if I
Well, they were
borrow that name?"
they were talking about starting the channel before I got involved, and this friend is who Edwin got into drift cars. Like this guy
Yeah,
was
he got
super
me
into
into
drifting,
drift cars.
and he's like, "Yo, check this out," and Edwin was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm into this."
And he was like, Grind Hard. And I'm like, well, if you just Google that, you know, the SEO is going to be a nightmare. And so, you know, like Grind Hard, Work Hard, there's already a record label called Grind Hard. Naming it after a plumbing company, I wouldn't advise people to do.
Dude, people
because we
gotta be
still
so
get in a
confused,
lot
yeah.
of like the Idaho state government is still like forces us to be insured as plumbers, like even
What?
though they're camera guy.
No way.
So it's
because they
more
refuse to
expensive.
understand.
Yeah.
that you don't do plumbing.
They're
But
still
they go,
working
why
on
would
it,
you name
huh?
your business
Wait,
as a plumbing
what?
company?
Yeah.
They just don't get it. They're like, no, you're a plumbing company. You said you're a plumbing company.
What?
Yeah.
Even though we're
Sounds-
registered as an entertainment company,
Yeah, our
they just
LLC.
don't get it.
Dude,
they're
that's
just
a-
so confused.
That's
They're
a thing that happens though. Like in our state, we don't have a problem, but I've heard of other YouTubers in different states where like they can't get a loan and they're a successful YouTube channel with over like 1 million subscribers, and they can't get a loan because the bank doesn't see them as like a legitimate business.
right.
Yeah.
That one's
and
just a
even
little
then,
ridiculous. They
they're
could
like,
look into it.
They're like, wow, like the loan, the bank looks at your finances and like, wow, like this is like a really interesting profit loss statement for a plumbing company. And it's like, yeah, like you sell a lot of t-shirts for a plumbing company. it's like, no. It's like, this is like an entertainment company.
They think
it's like
something else is
YouTube,
going
you know?
on. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like you're a TikToker. And I'm like,
fuck.
oh no. I was like, oh no.
Oh, like TikTok? You're like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do plumbing TikToks.
Yeah, but every time like business insurance, nightmare. We still can't like get our business properly insured.
damn.
Like
Because of the
we're
name.
having-
Plumbers?
because of the name and because
And
it's
because
a
of the
YouTube
what we do,
channel.
and
And
yeah.
like in Idaho has one insurer that they made legal to insure anybody. So this insurer cannot deny you. And it's the only insurance that we can get because they're so confused on what we actually do.
The
And
name
this
is
isn't
just
like, yeah,
confusing
insuring
everyone.
Ethan would be hard, right? He's like racing around Barbie Jeeps and stuff. And we have been denied for that reason. Like the insurance people are like, oh yeah, no problem. Be this much a month. And then they'll call me up before they write the policy. Yeah, we watched your videos. No.
Really?
Seriously?
So yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
For real. They're like, yeah, we saw this video specifically where at the time we had one of our friends part-time helping us like weld some stuff. Like, yeah, this person was underneath a truck welding without like this safety stuff. And
Really?
I'm like, they just saw it on YouTube and they're like, no.
So Mike, Ken, and I bought a house together. On our first like move-in video, Ben went and put like farm animals and stuff in it. Anyways, we were like trying to get
Wait, could you
We
say
were-
that again for me?
like he put like farm animals in it. So like I didn't know, and nor did Ken or Mike, but it was like my birthday, going in to go move in. Got like my
His new
my
house.
family like coming to come see it. They're all proud, you know,
No.
that I pooled my money together and bought this house with 2 other guys. But walk in, there's Ben in his like overalls with like a pitchfork, and there's like hay everywhere. I had chickens in my room.
so good.
One laid an egg.
It was so good.
And then in Ken's room there was goats, and yeah, it smelled terrible. It smelled like a barn in this
Yeah, I
house.
can
And it's
imagine.
like a fairly nice house, and yeah, it was a lot. But
I thought it was hilarious.
It was great.
CJ and Ken gave great reaction, obviously, as you would walking into your new house with the farm animals in it. But his girlfriend started crying. His mom was so mad. Who's my aunt was so mad at me. I think she might have even started crying. Like I
think
just like
they were
tore
just-
the family apart.
I think they were just. I think my mom was sad because my girlfriend was sad because she went there like a day or two in advance and had 2 full days of her just like she took off and was trying to clean this house and make it as nice and proper for her to move in. And then basically those 2 days of work were completely put down the drain and then moved backwards.
Oh, by a lot.
By a long shot. And so she started, she didn't even go in. She just started crying and left. And then, which rightfully so, she deserved it.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I felt bad that due to you're dating me, you get, roped in with these idiots and your hard work just went down the drain. And that's what my mom was sad about. I think and I was bummed too. It was, not the best
so
birthday
proud.
present, but it was a great video. And so my point, we were trying to get our home insurance. Our home insurance dropped us right there. So we had to go and get like they were like, we're not insuring.
Yeah.
So we had to go and just off of some farm animals being in your house. I was like,
We're not insuring you guys unless you're a farm. I'm sorry. You have to get farm
I don't know what
insurance.
the-
You're like,
I don't know what the
no,
deal
we're
is.
not a farm.
but yeah, they dropped us.
Wow.
So yeah, similar.
How you think of those content creator houses in like LA where like 12 TikTokers will live in and like do stunts all the time?
Yeah, they're like
Like-
all super young.
Yeah, and they probably lose their insurance and like it's not like if you get away with it then no one knows you did it. Like if you put farm animals in your house, the insurance would never know. But you put it on internet for millions of people to see and then you lose your insurance. Like there's there
more
are some
consequences,
real repercussions for some of these things, and hopefully your insurance ended up being too much more. But
There's a give and a take.
yeah, for sure. You got to do what you got to do.
Pretty committed to this, so
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a funny one. I did not know that you guys did
it's an
that.
old one.
I'm going to have to dig that up.
Yeah, man. We got
it's-
some gems that are very low view counts.
Oh,
You know, like
did
we've
that
done
one not
some-
even do well after all that
I mean,
work?
it's probably got like 1 million views now, but
I think it's like I put barn animals in my friend's house.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like you know what you're getting.
classic.
It's a classic.
But yeah, man. No, this has been fun though. Getting
Yeah.
to chop it up with you guys, and
For sure.
and like I said, it's no surprise the success. I mean, just because of your guys' love for adventure, you have no fear in trying something new, and just with that, you've been able to take all these little things from all these different avenues and then put it all together and use it to build this awesome channel and business. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's cool to see, and I think a lot that people listening can take from that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. And next time we got to get you on the Sent and Bent podcast. I
Absolutely.
really want to
Yeah,
see
we'd
you
love
guys
that.
talk to Will and see what happens.
Oh yeah, that'll be hilarious.
What's he gonna do? Will and Evan.
doesn't like
Yeah,
us or
just-
what?
Yeah, no,
you just never know.
Will,
Like, he's
Will likes you
Just
guys.
say
He's-
something
yeah.
funny.
He's just goofy as heck. And
You never
yeah,
know
we
what he's
get
gonna
Will,
say, yeah.
Evan, and Micah together, and I just want to know what that would look
Just
like.
watch
Fuck,
their brains
so-
Fly
work,
'em out
dude.
next week.
Yeah,
Let's
get
do it.
done.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds
guys.
like a plan.
Well, subscribe to Grind Hard Plumbing Co. if you haven't already.
Not plumbers.
And and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah,
Peace.
some interesting plumbing content is out there. Waiting for
Thanks
ya.
for having us.